Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifeni. Great Malabite.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning.
Yes, let's start the review with this day. Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, PSC, Police Service Commission. IG posting commissioners without our clearance is unconstitutional. Fears collusion with governors. Says authority to assign commissioners resides with the commission. Yes, the crisis of confidence between the Police Service Commission and the Office of the Inspector General of Police seem to be taking a new turn with the recent posting or redeployment of police state commissioners. Now, we are almost getting used to this spat between the Police Service Commission and the Inspector General of Police. Of course, recall the recruitment of 10,000 policemen and the argument between the PSC and the IG's office. We should be recruiting, but that matter is yet to abate. In fact, there's a report on the front page of the Punch today that the PSC is asking for the stoppage of the salary of these 10,000 new police recruits. Imagine. And the IG has said these policemen will be deployed for election duties. If you stop their salaries, what are you going to get? Your guess is as good as mine, and I hope that will not happen. But what should be of concern to us with this story is the fact that, according to the Police Service Commission, from letters seen by this day, is that some of these state commissioners being redeployed are being posted at the request of governors who are making their pick and choose of which commissioner should come to their state. And if this is the truth, then we have a problem, because it means these governors are looking for police commissioners that are amenable to their ways, and we don't know what they want to do with that kind of familiarity. Now, also, on the front page of this day, above the lead story, Tonyeko to Buhari declares state of emergency in Rivers. Traces violence to Executive Order 21 and 22. Tonyeko, the governorship candidate of the APC in Rivers State, well, tracing a lot of the violence that is happening in Rivers State to the high-handedness of the state governor, which is based on Order 21 and 22, which is signed some time ago. Of course, political parties have been having problems with where and how to campaign in Rivers State. And of course, even the ruling PDP, there is a discord between how the state PDP is campaigning and how the PDP presidential campaign will take place in Rivers State. Now, if we just look at the Guardian newspaper, cash swap program takes off nationwide 1 week to deadline. Now, banks yet to heed CBN's directive, stock ATMs with old bank notes. Buni begs for extension, says only 4 out of 17 local government councils in Yobe State have banks. Zulu decries non-dispensing of new Naira notes in Borno. No cause for alarm over deadline, CBN says. New note surfaces in Anambra banks after threats by CBN. Yes, the deadline for the old currency to cease to be legal tender in the country is sometime next week. And it seems, and from all indications, the circulation of the new Naira notes yet to percolate down every nook and cranny of this country. Now, this this cash swap program, you wonder, why was it not there in place from the onset? But now, 1 week to the time that program takes off today, will it ameliorate the situation? in the event that we still have these old currencies coming out of ATMs by next week, what will the CBN do? Because if you go to a bank ATM, automated teller machine, on the eve of the expiration date, and that bank teller machine pours old note into your hands in the dead of the night, what will you do? You'll be stuck with old notes the following day. So CBN perhaps needs to take a critical look at how this circulation is going and do the needful so that Nigerians don't suffer unnecessarily. That is the call. Now, the Punch newspaper, yes, above the masthead there, you see the story. PSC asks federal government to stop 10,000 constables' salary. I hope the president, who is in charge of both the police and the PSC, will call these people to order so that we don't have a situation where policemen are not paid their salaries because there is this dispute between the Police Service Commission and the Office of the Inspector General of Police as to who should recruit the 10,000 policemen. But they've been recruited, they've been trained, ready to be deployed for elections. So this call is needless at this time because these policemen will put to work on election day. We don't want anything that will unduly expose these policemen to politicians who want to buy them with money. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper, inflation, job loss, others deflate pension yields despite growth. Of course, whatever money has been saved over time as pensions, of course, with the inflation in the country, with the devaluation of the Naira, you know the worth of your money. It's unfortunate, but that is the situation right now. It doesn't matter how well you grow your pension fund. Now, under the photograph, new Naira notes unbanked Nigerians may lose out as deadline approaches. CBN, please take note and do the needful. Ensure that Nigerians don't suffer unduly. Now, the Daily Sun newspaper, aftermath of APC media team attacks, PDP fight back, drags Tinubu to NDLEA, EFCC, ask anti-graft, anti-drug agency, police, DSS, AGF to arrest, prosecute APC candidate, accuses APC of intimidating government agencies. Nigerians won't be swayed by your deliberate lies. APC hitting back. Well, we discussed this extensively earlier in the day. Ojoro meet Ojoro. Ojoro Castle Ojoro. Anyway, I think yes, I think the APC, they have the PDP candidate where they wanted him to be, the corner, the tight corner, because you know when you slug it out in the boxing ring, you want your opponent to be in a tight corner. Now for long, it's been, I see what you drug money in the US, show us your certificate, tell us who you are. And of course, the APC guys had to come up with something. And of course, they were able to dig out something. Allegations. And of course, the PDP has been organizing press conference to defend their candidate as well. You call it Ojoro Council Ojoro. Well, in Warri they say it's 1-1 goalless draw. Yes, there's not like 1-1 goalless draw.
First to do, the pain.
Yes, so at least the two major front runners, as it were, having this attack on each other. But it is not peculiar to Nigeria. Did somebody in America not try to get all the dirty details about Joe Biden and the Ukraine oil deals? Is it peculiar to Nigeria? It is not. So politicians throw mud and, of course, throw darts at one another. But it's for the rest of us to shine our eyes and know what to who to vote for. Of course, I can see Peter will be smiling somewhere. Kwankwan so saying, you see, we are the clean ones. You see the dirty guys. Well, so good for If you are not PDP, you are not APC, I think you will enjoy this brickbat back and forth by APC and PDP. Now, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, Afenifere to politicians, stop verbal physical violence. A timely call, but will they listen? I think we'll hear more as we count down to February 25. But the story on the front page there below the photograph, Warri Itakpe train derails in Kogi Forest. 148 passengers safely conveyed to destination. Well, bomb blast, attack by bandits on passengers, kidnap at train station, now derail in the middle of the forest. Of course, the other time we had petrol, or is it diesel, got finished somewhere on their way between Lagos and Ibadan. Now, train services, which was restored, of course, which has been modernized, and people were, of course, have been enjoying this with all these incidents. I hope train services will not become Kaduna, Abuja highway, where people fear to travel by road. But I learned that things have improved now, but this is one incident too many in recent times. Now, the Daily Trust newspaper, high cost hinders consumers' access to electricity meters. Only 38% of 12.6 meters registered customers have meters. 12.6 million customers have meters. We are giving second-hand meters with accumulated bill. We're giving second-hand meters with accumulated bills. Can you imagine that? Experts push for free meters. NERC says soon. I think that should be the case because the cost of meter for Ikeja Electric in my area, 64,000 naira for single phase, 117,000 for three-phase meters. Not many people can afford this. So the electricity companies, DISCOs will be smiling to the bank, giving you estimated billings. Now, the foreign newspapers quickly. The Guardian newspaper, Britain forecast to reach 1 trillion pounds export target 15 years late in the wake of Brexit. Yes, you remember the campaign for Brexit, saying that by 2020, we'll hit 1 billion exports. Of course, that promise was first made by David Cameron.
Lies.
Yes, lies. But of course, Boris Johnson took it over in 2021 when he said, well, by 2030, we'll hit 1 billion pounds export. And you remember that slogan, made in Britain, sold to the world.
Singapore and Thames.
Ruben, Rufai, and Ayo.
Quickly.
So, yes.
Okay. Let me comment on the conflict between the
PSC,
the MPF, the Nigeria Police Force, and the Police Service
Commission.
Well, this has been there for a very long time. You'll recall that in 2018, President Muhammadu Buhari gave a directive that 10,000 policemen should be recruited on an annual basis to get a total of about 60,000. And this was in response to concerns that, Nigeria is under-policed. But since that 2018, they've only been able to recruit maybe 10,000.
Yeah, one set of 10,000.
And then, of course, since then, it's been this back and forth. In fact, the conflict between the Police Service Commission and the Nigeria Police Force led to the former chairman of the Police Service Commission resigning. That's
Musiliu Smith.
Former Inspector General of Police Musiliu Smith. And then he was replaced by Justice Clara Ogumbi, formerly of the Supreme Court. And then, of course, the problem has not disappeared. The issue is who has what powers. Now, the conflict, as has been explained, is that the Police Service Commission, under the text schedule to the Constitution and under Section 153 of the same Constitution, is empowered to recruit, to discipline, right, to promote. These are the functions of the Police Service Commission. But the Nigerian Police Force quotes Section 18, subsection 1 of the Police Service Act of 2020, and they insist that that law, that particular piece of legislation that was endorsed by President Buhari, gives the office of the Inspector General of Police, the powers of recruitment and promotion, which is in conflict
with the Constitution.
You know, the third schedule. Now, in 2020, the matter went to court. The lower courts ruled in favor of the Police Service Commission. Now the matter is before the Supreme Court. I think we can, you know, just appeal to the Supreme Court to treat the matter expeditiously so that this conflict can be laid to rest. But it is a tried principle in law that where a subsidiary legislation conflicts with the provisions of the Constitution, the Constitution will prevail. It's just, you know, it's a tried principle. But, I mean, this is not to teach the Supreme Court their work. But I think it's important that the Supreme Court pronounces on this expeditiously so that this matter can be resolved.
Okay, I wanted to speak about the train derailing once again around Kogi. So, in the last 2-3 weeks, we've had constant attacks on that Warri-Itakpe line. Some people were kidnapped, most of them been returned safely.
They've all been returned according to the reports.
They've all been returned safely.
From the police and the Edo State government.
And in the same breath, the train derailed on that line. What am I trying to look at here? I'm trying to look at, I think the last time we had a case like this in Kaduna, they said that they were going to procure a security apparatus to be able to monitor the tracks. Where is that security apparatus? At least you should have sensors on the tracks that know or that can ascertain when something happens to the tracks, so you can monitor, so we can prevent train derailing. So where is that security apparatus? And please, has the security apparatus been installed for the Kaduna rail line and also this rail line? Because the NRC has shut down the rail line, as they will always do. But they don't solve the problem, and it continues because we are very reactive, not proactive in this country. So I ask, where is the security apparatus on the rail? And have they done it for Lagos-Ibadan rail line?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel Ifeni. Unfortunately, we're out of time now. I would have liked to speak on the cash swap program by the CBN and the fact that rural dwellers who don't have a bank account can now exchange their old notes for new notes ahead of the deadline on the 31st of January.
I hope your bank is not giving you new notes.
They haven't. I withdrew money on Saturday.
We don't want to name names.
We've got to go.